The 1967 United States quarter dollar is one of the most historically important coins of the because it belongs to the early copper-nickel clad era, introduced after the dramatic end of circulating silver coinage in the mid-1960s. Officially known as the Washington quarter, the coin carries the word liberty prominently on the obverse, symbolizing American freedom and democratic values. Although dated 1967, this coin reflects deep economic, political, and cultural changes that reshaped U.S. currency forever. By the early 1960s, rising silver prices caused people to hoard silver coins, especially quarters, dimes, and half dollars struck in 90% silver. The intrinsic metal value of these coins was approaching, or exceeding, their face value. This created a severe coin shortage across the United States. In response, the U.S. Congress passed the Coinage Act of 1965, which eliminated silver from quarters and dimes and reduced silver content in half dollars. As a result, the 1967 quarter was produced using a clad composition consisting of outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This composition gave the coin a silvery appearance while being far cheaper to produce and resistant to hoarding. The obverse design of the 1967 quarter features a left-facing portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States. This portrait is based on a 1786 sculpture by Jean-Antoine Houdon, widely regarded as the most accurate likeness of Washington. The word liberty arches across the top of the coin, representing personal freedom and national independence, while the motto, "In God We Trust," appears to the left of Washington's neck. The date 1967 is placed at the bottom. Notably, quarters of this era do not carry mint marks, regardless of where they were produced. This was a deliberate decision by the U.S. Mint between 1965 and 1967 to discourage collectors from hoarding coins by mint location. The reverse design continues the long-standing heraldic eagle motif, which had been used on Washington quarters since 1932. The eagle, with wings spread wide, symbolizes strength, vigilance, and national sovereignty. Beneath the eagle are olive branches, representing peace, while above and around it appear the inscriptions United States of America and E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many one. The denomination quarter dollar is boldly stated at the bottom. This reverse design remained in use until 1998, making the 1967 quarter part of a long and familiar tradition in American coinage. In terms of physical specifications, the 1967 quarter has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a reeded edge. The visible copper stripe along the edge clearly distinguishes it from pre-1965 silver quarters, which have a solid silver-colored edge. These technical details are important for collectors, as they instantly identify the coin as a clad issue. Production of the 1967 quarter was massive. Over 1.5 billion pieces were struck at U.S. Mint facilities in Philadelphia and Denver, though no mint marks appear. This extremely high mintage was intended to flood the economy with coins and eliminate shortages. Because of this, the 1967 quarter is very common in circulated condition and is still occasionally found in everyday change today. From a numismatic perspective, the 1967 quarter is not rare, but it is highly significant. It represents the transition away from precious metal money toward modern fiat-based coinage. For many collectors, it serves as a historical marker separating the silver era from the modern clad era. While circulated examples generally carry only face value, uncirculated specimens with strong luster can command modest premiums. Coins graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services are especially desirable. Rare mint errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or double strikes, can significantly increase value and collector interest. Culturally and historically, the 1967 quarter reflects a turbulent period in American history. The United States was deeply involved in the Vietnam War. The civil rights movement was reshaping society, and economic pressures were forcing changes in long-standing traditions, including coinage. The decision to remove silver from quarters was controversial at the time, but it ultimately stabilized the nation's monetary system and ensured sufficient coin supply for commerce. In conclusion, the 1967 Washington quarter Liberty is far more than an ordinary coin. It is a symbol of adaptation, economic reform, and continuity in American design. Though common, It holds lasting importance for collectors, historians, and anyone interested in the evolution of U.S. money. It stands as a tangible reminder of the moment when American coinage decisively moved from precious metals into the modern age. Next, top 2. The 1979 United States quarter dollar, commonly known as the Washington quarter, is a significant coin that represents the maturity of America's modern clad coinage system. Struck at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the D Mint mark on the obverse, this coin belongs to an era when the United States had fully transitioned away from precious metal circulating coinage and embraced copper-nickel clad coins as a stable, economical solution for everyday commerce. Although not rare, the 1979 D quarter holds historical, cultural, and numismatic importance, especially for collectors who focus on modern U.S. coinage and mint-marked circulation issues. By 1979, the Washington quarter design had already been in continuous use for nearly 5 decades, having first appeared in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. What began as a commemorative design became permanent due to its popularity and strong symbolism. The 1979 D issue continues this tradition, bearing the iconic portrait of Washington on the obverse. The portrait faces left and is derived from the famous bust sculpted by Jean-Antoine Houdon in 1786, which is considered the most accurate likeness of the first U.S. president. Above Washington's head appears the bold inscription Liberty, a central theme of American identity, while the national motto, In God We Trust, is placed to the left of the portrait. The date 1979 appears at the bottom, and just to the right of Washington's Q, hair tie, is the D Mint mark, identifying the Denver Mint as the place of manufacture. The reverse design of the 1979 D quarter features the long-standing heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, a symbol of American strength, vigilance, and sovereignty. Beneath the eagle are olive branches, representing peace, while the surrounding inscriptions include United States of America at the top and E Pluribus Unum above the eagle, expressing the idea of unity. Out of many one. The denomination quarter dollar is clearly stated at the bottom. This reverse design was used on Washington quarters from 1932 until 1998, making the 1979 D issue part of the classic and familiar quarter design seen by generations of Americans. In terms of composition and physical characteristics, the 1979 D quarter is made of a copper-nickel clad structure, consisting of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The coin weighs 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and features a reeded edge, which helps deter counterfeiting and provides tactile distinction from other denominations. The visible copper band along the edge is a clear indicator that the coin contains no silver, distinguishing it from pre-1965 quarters. The Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters in 1979, ensuring ample supply for circulation across the western and central United States. Because of this high mintage, the 1979 D quarter is considered common, especially in circulated condition. Many examples remain in circulation today, often showing where on Washington's hair, the high points of the cheek, and the eagle's breast and wing tips. Despite its abundance, collectors value the 1979 D quarter as a representative example of late 1970s U.S. coinage, and as part of complete date and mint Washington quarter sets. From a numismatic value perspective, most circulated 1979 D quarters are worth face value. However, uncirculated examples, particularly those with strong luster and minimal contact marks, can command a modest premium. Coins graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services are more desirable, especially when they show sharp strikes and clean surfaces. Additionally, mint errors, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, or doubled dies, can be significantly more valuable and are actively sought by collectors specializing in error coins. Historically, the 1979 D quarter reflects a period of economic challenge and transition in the United States. The late 1970s were marked by inflation, energy crises, and changes in monetary policy, yet U.S. coinage remained stable in design and composition. While the dollar coin underwent major experimentation in 1979 with the Susan B. Anthony dollar, the quarter remained unchanged, underscoring its reliability and public acceptance. This stability helped maintain confidence in everyday currency during uncertain economic times. In summary, the 1979 D. Washington quarter, Liberty, is a durable symbol of modern American coinage. While it may not be rare or highly valuable, it carries lasting historical significance as part of the long-running Washington Quarter series and as a product of the Denver Mint during a pivotal era in U.S. history. For collectors, historians, and everyday citizens alike, the 1979 D quarter stands as a familiar yet meaningful piece of America's monetary story. Next, top 3. The 1995 P United States quarter dollar, widely known as the Washington Quarter, represents one of the final years of the classic quarter design before the historic transformation brought by the 50-state quarters program in 1999. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the P Mint mark on the obverse, this coin belongs to the mature phase of modern American clad coinage. Although produced primarily for everyday circulation and not intended as a commemorative issue, the 1995 P quarter holds notable historical, cultural, and numismatic importance, especially for collectors interested in U.S. coins and pre-state quarter-era issues. The Washington Quarter design had been in continuous use since 1932, originally introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Its popularity and symbolic power led to its permanent adoption in U.S. coinage. By 1995, the design had become one of the most recognizable images in American daily life. The obverse of the 1995 P quarter features the familiar left-facing portrait of George Washington, inspired by the renowned 1786 bust sculpted by Jean-Antoine Houdon, considered the most accurate likeness of the first U.S. president. The word liberty appears boldly across the top, reflecting the foundational principle of American democracy, while the national motto, "In God We Trust," is positioned to the left of Washington's portrait. The date 1995 is displayed at the bottom, and just to the right of Washington's hair ribbon appears the P Mint mark, signifying production at the Philadelphia Mint, something that had become standard for quarters beginning in 1980. The reverse of the 1995 P quarter continues the long-used heraldic eagle design, a powerful symbol of national strength, unity, and independence. The eagle is shown with wings spread wide, perched above a bundle of olive branches, symbolizing America's preference for peace while maintaining readiness to defend itself. Above the eagle appears the inscription E pluribus unum, meaning out of many one, a phrase that captures the unity of the American states. Encircling the upper reverse is United States of America, while the denomination quarter dollar is clearly stated at the bottom. This reverse design would soon be retired, making the 1995 P issue part of the final chapter of the traditional Washington Quarter era. In terms of composition and technical specifications, the 1995 P quarter is made of a copper-nickel clad structure, consisting of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The coin weighs 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and features a reeded edge, which helps deter counterfeiting and allows easy identification by touch. The visible copper band along the edge confirms that the coin contains no silver, a clear distinction from pre-1965 quarters, which were struck in 90% silver. The Philadelphia Mint produced several 100 million quarters in 1995, ensuring widespread circulation across the eastern and central United States. Because of this high mintage, the 1995 P quarter is considered common in circulated condition and is still frequently encountered in everyday change. Most circulated examples show typical were on Washington's cheek and hair, as well as on the eagle's breast and wing tips. Despite its abundance, the coin remains popular among collectors assembling complete date and mint sets of Washington quarters. From a numismatic value standpoint, the majority of circulated 1995 P quarters are worth face value. However, uncirculated examples with original mint luster and minimal contact marks can command a modest premium. Coins professionally graded MS-65 or higher are particularly desirable, especially those with sharp strikes and clean fields. Additionally, collectors actively search for mint errors and varieties, such as off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and doubled dies, which can significantly increase a coin's value depending on severity and rarity. Historically, the 1995 P quarter reflects a period of relative economic stability and technological growth in the United States. The mid-1990s were marked by expanding globalization, the rise of the internet, and renewed public interest in American symbols and history, an interest that soon led to the launch of the immensely popular 50-state quarters program. Coins like the 1995 P quarter served as the everyday currency that bridged traditional U.S. coinage with the modern commemorative era that followed. In conclusion, the 1995 P Washington Quarter Liberty may appear ordinary at first glance, but it carries substantial historical and numismatic significance. As one of the last standard design quarters struck before a major redesign, it represents the end of a long and iconic chapter in U.S. coinage. For collectors, historians, and enthusiasts, especially those like you who appreciate detailed coin history, this coin stands as a meaningful reminder of America's monetary heritage just before it entered a new and highly collectible era.